Oh, come on. She lives in California. What do you expect?
I am bulletproof.
Have you watched the news around here?
Matter of fact, yeah, if you live in anywhere near L.A. and you're not going to work every morning with Kevlar, you are a very brave or either stupid person. But
I don't live anywhere near L.A. I live 12 hours north.
Thank goodness.
I thought we were recording, but there's...
Yeah, there's a little blinking light. Guess what that means? Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom. Tonight, we've gathered to sit down and have a little talk about a superhero that has literally blasted his way into our hearts and minds and has taken back the streets of Harlem, and that is Luke Cage. Okay, let's go around, get everybody's hey there, hi there, ho there's, and we'll get started. Okay, let's start with Alex.
Alex, and I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay, AJ.
Hello from down under, everyone.
All righty, William.
Hey now, how you doing, everybody?
Graham.
Hopefully I can string together a sentence this week. How we doing, folks?
Beefhead.
Forwards, never backwards, son.
By the way, we should also mention he is the son of the infamous Beef Dad, who is really doing a big convention tour this year. Okay. Next up, Texas Tim.
Howdy.
Hey.
Okay. Sorry about that. I couldn't believe that ding came at that exact second. All right, Lady Neo.
Sweet Christmas. How y'all doing?
And Susan.
Hello from rainy and murky California.
Cheer up.
Yeah, but from what we hear, it's not as rainy as Wales. But okay. Moving on then. Let's get back to Harlem where we belong. Okay, very, very interesting series. Very interesting cast. Very interesting, I say it took me a little while to blow through this one, but I love the way they twisted it kind of sort of in the middle. So this way it isn't the typical, okay, good guy versus bad guy. It's good guy versus, well, bad guy, bad woman, and many other opposing factions, not to mention versus, the police department. By the time you get to the end of this thing, wow, he is really taking kind of a hero's journey. But let's hear your guys' view on it. Let's start with Lady Neo. Go ahead and tell us your first thoughts on Luke Cage.
Well, I really wasn't. Let me start over. Basically, when I first heard about it and I saw the previews and everything, I was basically saying, not gonna like it. I'm not gonna like it. Watched Jessica Jones. I watched Daredevil. Like, how are they gonna do Luke Cage? And then I looked into the comics and I said, I hope they don't do it like the comics. I hope they kind of change it a little bit. And I was really surprised. So I was actually surprised they did it the way they did, and they did do some Easter eggs, which was kind of cool.
Well, the funniest part is, I was just reading about this again a little while ago. Mike Coulter said a lot of the same things you just did before he went on to take. Matter of fact, he read the comics or some of them, and when they approached him and said, look, we want you to do this character, he was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Tiara, the armbands, the shirt. He goes, you've got to be, I'm not going to do this. It's black exploitation. And then they reassured him, no, we're going to do a modern take on this particular character. Then he actually signed out without even seeing his script. So, he took a big leap of faith with these guys here because he was thinking, oh, great, I'm going to be in the big yellow shirt, the tiara, the armbands, wearing probably funky gold. But no, it turns out they took a really good turn with it. Okay, let's move on to – looky, there's Susan. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
I think that it's a great show. I thought that the casting was amazing. I thought that the guy who played the owner of the barbershop was awesome. I mean, awesome with a capital A. I thought the guy who played Luke Cage, Power Man, was brilliant, and I really liked his character arc. I thought that it was amazing that he went from being sort of not really on the side of good to being someone who's behind the forces of good, pushing with all of his might. And I mean, that was really awesome. And I love the music. The music was really groovy, really, really, really groovy, man. And I thought that all the female characters were super powerful, super amazing. Misty, wonderful, and Mika was sweet and romantic and really cool and really tough too. I mean, just wonderful, wonderful diversity and wonderful, interesting characters. Really great casting, really great acting, and I really love the guy who played the bar owner. He was amazingly cynical. It seemed like he was cynical to start with, and then it sort of took a turn towards, the sinister. There's some alliteration. Yeah, so he turned from cynical to sinister, and that was really, really cool. And his owner mentor, that guy was really interesting too. So all these names are escaping me right now because I just rushed in, but all the rest of the cast, these podcasters will know what the heck I'm talking about.
Okay, we're going to go a little bit more detail on the characters later, so that's no biggie. Okay, Texas Tim, go ahead.
I thought it was a really good series. I think what I liked about it was that it did the same kind of thing Jessica Jones did. It drops you in the middle of a story and then slowly uses its episodes to reveal what's really going on. I mean, it was really cool how Luke, it starts out, we know Luke Cage, but he's just laying low, doing crap jobs, trying to just, keep it clean and not get into any trouble. And he's pretty much pulling that off, except he ends up working for this guy who's a gangster. And I think it's really cool too how this guy is not even the main villain. He's just like the pseudo villain up until about halfway through. And you hear the main villain, name dropped several times throughout, but he didn't even pop in until like halfway through the series. So it's pretty clever the way it unfolded, and it keeps you guessing. And it was just a lot of fun. Like everybody said, the acting was great, the music was great. It was a very good series. I don't care too much for the way it ended, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not over yet, so it's just gonna move on from there. So
okay, next up, William, go ahead.
Excuse me. After seeing Luke Cage appear in Jessica Jones, we were looking forward to see his own TV series. Of course, like doing when they were filming, we found out it was going to take place in Harlem. Now then, when the comic book character first appeared, it was like 72, 73, so that was during the blaxploitation era. So that's to come, like Lady Neil was saying, the way he looked at back then was not a good look for him to have now. But luckily, as an Easter egg, they put it in one of the episodes when they showed his origin. Just as a nice little laugh to look at. This series was a great series, and I can't wait whenever they get the chance to do a second series that we could see what the follow up of what's going to happen to him. So we know that his friend in the barbershop found the files, and of course we're going to see supposedly maybe Matt Bird represent him, for his case like that. But what the good thing about that is that then he even though he used his invulnerability, you hardly see him use that much of his powers until, of course, he had to deal with Diamondback. What really cool is that you actually saw him actually do get hurt by a bullet that was made from the metal from the invasion that happened in the Avengers movie. And, of course, when they removed it, his body healed up. So does that mean now he could take that bullet? Or because if you read the comics, he does withstand more injury. The only thing I have not ever seen him get hit by is anything made of adamantium, but that's in the comics like that. So let that deal with that in the TV show whenever it's possible. Like say this follows up. This is gonna follow up with a person that he teamed up in the comics named Iron Fist, and then of course after that there will be the Defender series. which is unusual because in the comics the Defenders didn't have these characters, or they were made with. You can see the some of them were members of the Avengers, like the Hulk and Doctor Strange and stuff like that. So, and then Luke Cage appeared, I think, in issue 15. I have to go back and check on that. So it was good to see, when this series of the Defenders comes out next year. I look forward to see how these guys and lady get together and deal with whoever the main villain is going to be in that series. But it's a funny thing, even though I forgot the actor's name, but the character of Shades, even though he represented Diamondback, I get the funny feeling he might work for Diamondback, but I think he has another boss, because when it comes to anything that's happening in the city, any crime, Wilson Fisk's name is gonna pop up. And notice that it popped up more than one time in the Luke Cage series. So when we see Wilson Fisk again, I got the funny feeling his influence went up to Harlem. So I look forward to that real soon.
Yeah, word is we're going to see him again, but they haven't said which series yet. So, you never know. Okay, Graham, you're up next.
Yeah, here's my. For me, much like Jessica Jones, I didn't know too much about this. I never read the comics. I had the fortune of, basically, we had a wee bit to go on this time, obviously, because he was in Jessica Jones. So bang, that's taking place, and he's off up to Harlem. I loved the struggle between like gang warfare and trying to do good by, the next generation of Harlem. You get the corrupt politician, which was, a good side plot. She's got her own story. I love the origin story in episode 4. They didn't go too hokey with that. That was good. You get a clean cut insight on how he got his abilities. And I also love the fact that they flipped the villain halfway through the season. As Tim alluded to, Cottonmouth was just a pseudo villain, and then boom, in comes Diamondback, and all your gang nationalities are getting taken out. Funny stuff, man. It was good to see Claire Temple again. Up until now, she's just basically been there to patch everybody up. She got a bit more meat to go on this time, quite literally, more ways than one. We got a bit more about her story. And Misty Knight, great side character, but I want to find out a bit more about her as time goes on. I'm with Tim in the sense that, okay, if you went into this blind, you might not like how they ended it, but at the same time, it sets something else up, and you've got other stories coming down the road. So, all in all, great show.
Okay, Beefhead.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this mentally, to be honest with you. We met Luke Cage in Jessica Jones, and so we already knew what the deal was with him. Obviously, we find out that, yeah, he's laying low, trying to stay away and out of everything, trying to walk a sort of straight path, working 3 jobs and just barely getting by. But obviously, temptation's all in his way. But there comes a point where, obviously, situation changes and he has to step up. He has to take action, and that's it. You get that by the end of the first episode, that where something has to happen. There's a trigger to it, and I was hooked by the end of the first episode. The music is fantastic with it, and what's really good is that it sort of after a certain point in time in the story, you actually you can be forgiven for forgetting the bulletproof aspect of Luke Cage, because it is sort of like a really good detective story. And Harlem, in itself seems a real place. It's not like one of these fantastical superhero type things. It is gritty. It's it's unabated. It doesn't hold back language-wise. It uses the N-word, which you would not expect to be done in a superhero show. So they haven't been afraid, and they've not held back. Like the guys have said with the villains, what I liked with Cottonmouth, to be honest with you, was he was really good, because by the end of it, you sort of feel a bit sorry for him. He does fall apart, but you feel he's sort of like a victim of circumstance to a certain degree. And his cousin, Mariah actually turns out to be worse than him, but she was the one trying to go down the straight and narrow path. But she just can't get away from what she is. But at the end of it, she is bad because she wanted to be a politician. They're not necessarily great people. I loved Diamondback, to be honest with you. He's like a new Tony Todd. He's got a fantastic voice.
Tony Todd.
And the costume that he has at the end of it, it's, you know, you can understand the reason for it. That the hammer tech, which is a nice callback to, you know, Iron Man. I think it's the second Iron Man movie. So yeah, it's tying the universe together, and it is really, really strong all the way through. Yeah, it does lapse a little bit at the end, and the bit where he gets shot, it drags a little bit in the middle. But everyone is at the top of their game on this. This is such a really, really good. This has actually been my favourite so far. Up until now, it was Jessica Jones. This has overtaken it. But yeah, fantastic series, man.
Okay, AJ, go ahead.
I was quite surprised by watching this show because we saw him in a little bit in Jessica Jones, and then his own series. He's sort of hiding out. He doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want to be noticed. He just wants to live his life and be semi-happy, whatever that is for him. The whole idea with Cottonmouth, I think he was a very misunderstood and twisted character with his childhood, and you know how he was abused and forced into a life he didn't want anything to do with. He just wanted to be a straight guy. With Diamondback, though, that was a very good twist where it turns out Luke Cage apparently has a half-brother. Never saw that coming. I did not like Hammer Tech. I thought, seriously, they would have gone bust after Iron Man 2 when he was sent to jail, personally. I'm amazed the suit actually worked after all this stuff that happened in Iron Man 2 with all the bad tech. But the series overall was quite good. I like how he was shot, and actually you get to see how vulnerable he still is. Even though he's bulletproof, he can still be hurt physically, emotionally, and everything else. He's just a flawed character like any one of us. He's a real people person, and I thought it was an awesome show. It was just, there's not much you can really say about it.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Yes, I didn't think I was going to like the show, even though I did see Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and I did like that sequence when they met and spent the night together and all that. But I knew he was a good actor, and actually I've already seen the series at least twice. I may even watch it more. And I was just looking at some of the great quotes. Everybody wants to be the king, never confuse the battle with the war. Boys run, men stand. It has a lot of great quotes. It has a lot of great cast. It has a lot of themes that it's running at the same time, but at the same point, it's modern. It also has great music. So it was very entertaining, and as Beef said, they covered a lot of themes and a lot of topics, and they did it in a very intelligent, modern way, and no nonsense. So if they keep on like this, this will be one of the few series out of 7 that I actually like and support and would support of the modern era, instead of watching all the classics that I usually watch. So I definitely would recommend it. It is very modern, but the acting's good, the casting's good, the music's good, the dialogue is great. So I'd pretty much give it a 9, I'd say.
All righty. Well, we usually save the ratings to last, but I see you're eager. All right. All right, let's talk briefly about some of the villains here that were involved in this thing. All right, let's start off with Mahershala Ali as Cottonmouth. All right, floor's wide open.
Excellent.
Yeah, he played the role real good.
Excellent. And you know what? It's like Tim said. He's actually ends up being a sympathetic character, because you can see he got pushed into this kind of lifestyle, and he didn't want it. He wanted to be a musician. Yep. That's why he loves music. That's why he wants to own a club, so he can have acts there like every night, playing music, and that's all he wants to do. I mean, and he gets pushed into this stuff, and everybody treats him like shit the whole time. He's always got somebody up above him telling him what to do, and he doesn't like that. You know,
he was really, really like cynical at the beginning. He was so cynical. He was like, I'll never get any respect. I'll never get anywhere except for by like controlling this thing. And so it was really fun to watch him go above that and become like sinister and really wicked.
Well, it was really in a way. It was. And remember when he started losing his temper like that, he brought it on himself because he had subordinates that didn't listen to him, and that's why Pops got killed in the barbershop. Was that area was like was
Switzerland.
It was neutral. So that's why he got really ticked off that he dealt with the individual who shot Pops. But then on, that's because he started taking more orders from Diamondback, and he started losing his temper more. Especially when he found out that Luke Cage gonna get killed. Especially when he shot that rocket at him, it didn't work. But that's why sorry. That's like Tim said. He's a sympathetic character, but the main problem that he was having, he brought it on himself because he didn't listen to people, and he had like the more and more of the subordinates was becoming more disrespectful, was not respecting him, and that's because his temper was flaring very fast.
I think it's easy to see that Ali's character had great character change throughout the 6 episodes he was part of this show. From the cynical all the way to when he's lost his temper, and here comes big bad cousin, boom, you're dead in the club. But spoiler alert. But I think what you can say for the 6 episodes he was in there, he chewed up the bloody scenery, man, every time he was on screen.
Yeah, the bit where he takes the gun out of the box that he was forced to shoot his sort of
uncle, was it?
His uncle with, and everything like that, and he's sort of having to point it at himself in the mirror to sort of like steel his nerve and find his resolve and sort of get his focus back. He's excellently done. Yeah, like you were saying, he does. He flips between the two fantastically. And when he does lose his temper, when he throws that guy off the top of the building, sort of like, you want his job, you want your money. He's got it down there. You go get it.
That was the twist in his storyline that he never came back from, really. That guy went and shot Pop, so I mean, and that he was never going to recover from that.
No.
For me, it was the scene, with the piano, where he's sitting there playing, and they flash back, and then they come back, and then he's sitting there, and his hands are just visibly shaking, and you can actually, that was just brilliantly acted right there. That scene, you could actually feel the emotion. You could actually feel, him recollecting that moment and how much it changed his life when he took someone's life, and he's still feeling it how many years later. That right there really, really caught my eye. Really, really, made me think, wow. That's what I love about these new dramas is the fact that you can have a cookie-cutter villain any day of the week. It's the villains where you find out, okay, what was this guy's damage? What made this person think that this worldview they've taken is right? That right there is the kind of thing that grabs me.
That's the thing. A lot of these dramas now, especially these supposed superhero shows, they're more about emotional torment rather than your bog standard good guy in a cape, bad guy with a gun. Excellent.
Or Dr. Evil. Come on.
Wow,
They don't make him too sympathetic though, because he is a bit of a bastard throughout. I mean, like he shoots 2 or 3 of his own guys just because they piss him off, and it's like one thing I really liked was though that they set it up like he's the main villain of the show. They only casually mentioned the other guy a few times, and then halfway through, boom, they remove him from the board. His storyline had gone as far as it could. If they stretched out any longer, it would have been like, come on, really, dude? You think you got any cards left in your deck? Come on.
Yeah.
So it was time for him to go, and they took him out of the game. So that's cool.
Okay, next up, let's talk about another guy who, by the way, one person described him as kind of the little finger of Luke Cage, the ultimate opportunist, Hernan Shades Alvarez, played by Theo Rossi.
Yeah. Excellent portrayal. I just loved how he seemed to be taking a breath every time he spoke. We must do this, and quite good, man. Yeah.
I know the way he pulled everybody's strings, man. It was like, damn.
I loved him with Mariah. I just I loved them two together. In the end, that was just weird, freaky. That was freaky at the end when I saw her do that thing. But
but by the end of this thing, he was stringing Mariah like foaming Pinocchio to the Geppetto, man. He was.
Oh yeah.
So.
For like a master criminal, how stupid is he to try and fake that Luke Cage had killed Cottonmouth? I mean, you know, he should know that his head was smashed in with a microphone stand. It was going to leave a.
Yeah, but remember when they were doing the cleanup and the cover up, he put on gloves and kept punching him in the face to make it look like a fist was doing that.
Yeah, but his fist would be a lot smaller than Luke Cage.
Yeah, but with the damage that she did with the mic stand. You know, it would a good forensic would have to look at it. That's like it took a while for someone to realize he got hit in the back of the head with a bottle. That's why.
Yeah.
They also took his washing up gloves from the kitchens and then planted them in the barbershop as well.
Yeah.
So
That's right, yeah.
I thought that was just part of his double cross, that he was just trying to convince Mariah that we're going to make it look like Cage did it, when at the end of the day, everybody was going to know that Cage didn't do it. So he was just trying to appease her and keep her in his pocket.
But yeah, that's it. He's the idea of the Shades being cool, and he's the cool, calm, collected guy. He doesn't really lose it at any point, even to the point where they try and take him off the board.
Yeah.
And Zip tries to kill him in the lift when he's bailed out of when he's bailed from the cop shop, and when he's being interviewed as well. You think he's finally cracking.
Lawyer,
yeah. And nothing phases the guy, and he keeps dirt on everyone purely for the fact that when he goes back later, he's got the champagne bottle wrapped up in cellophane. So yeah, he's got the evidence to take her out anyway. So she's got to, dance to his tune at the end of the day.
Remember, he's the one that picked up Misty Knight's telephone to call that girl.
Oh yeah, that was kind of tragic, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you he's always thinking.
Am I mistaken, or did it seem to me that he was trying to play all the characters against each other and just sit back and watch? Because it seemed like in a few scenes he even wanted to go Luke. You heard him under his breath.
He's looking to see which way to align his power structure with. Whoever has the best prospects, he's going to align himself with them, and that's why his allegiance changes as the show progresses. He can see Cottonmouth falling apart, and that's when he takes over the club. And then when Mariah starts to use it,
the other sequence I liked was when they were alone in the club, Shades and Cottonmouth, and even though and they're talking about the bullet, and they're showing the video and all that. And I thought that was really nice, that sequence as well. So yeah, it was interesting. It seemed like Shades was aligning and then unaligning, and he was just waiting to see who was going to take each other out. He's just sitting back and watching.
He's definitely a character you want. Sorry, Sue, on you go.
Go ahead. He's just so cold. Go on, Roger.
He's definitely a character you want to see more. I don't know if you're going to get him an Iron Fist. I doubt it. So, well, Defenders maybe.
If he comes back, he probably either appear in Defenders, or maybe even Daredevil. If you see him meeting with some Fisk.
Or Punisher probably, because that series is getting.
Well, that's true too. But we don't know what part of the city the Punisher would take place at.
Yeah.
Or they had that one guy who popped up and he goes, "You guys are crazy. I'm going back to Hell's Kitchen."
Oh, that's Turk. That's Turk.
Yeah, he was also in Daredevil. That's right, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's always in Daredevil, but it's funny to see him there.
I got a kick out of that. What I was head of Marvel Television, Jeff Loeb, described Shades as being the quote-unquote kind of little finger for this. He's the guy who runs around behind the scenes manipulating people. What I loved was when he was also trying to talk Diamondback down, and Diamondback wouldn't listen to him. And look at what happened. So, okay, let's move on. Matter of fact, we haven't talked about Diamondback yet, have we? So let's go ahead and let's drop in the Diamondback a bit. He was played by Eric LaRae Harvey. So who wants to take off on that one first?
Excellent performance. I mean, he comes out of nowhere at the end of that one episode, just shoots him. And it's like, who the hell is this guy now? But then, of course, they've been setting him up slowly. They've been dropping his name several times throughout. So I mean, the whole thing about him being a bastard stepbrother is really like out of left field. You don't expect that. His resentment is what keeps him going because he hates Luke Cage. But I mean, he's mad. He's crazy mad because most people would learn to let that go. You can't blame your sibling for what your parents did, really. And but this guy's he's bonkers at this point. So
yeah, he did crazy really well.
Yeah.
And he starts out that way, and he only gets crazier. Like he starts off bat shit crazy, and then he goes like up from there instead of just like leveling off. It's not a one-dimensional performance. It's like whoa.
And when it dawns on Luke Cage that this is what the situation is, he tries his best to make it work somehow, but the guy won't even listen to him. He's like, no, I'm not going to have that. So it's just... Yeah,
that's a character we can't wait to see to come back, considering at the end of the storyline, the same professor who created Luke Cage went to deal with him. I'm like, oh, great. Going to be another...
there we go.
About the ending, I'm not so sure how I felt about it. I was just like, really? Okay, he's in that hospital with that guy, and so he's going to be super soldier next time or whatever. So, wow.
But he's a commanding presence, to be honest with you. I love the bits with the Bible and everything like that. The way he sort of, the beat of how he speaks and everything like that, it's all paused. He's got a fantastic tone to his voice. And so when he's like reading scriptures and stuff like that he's got highlighted in this book, like a complete insane guy, to be honest with you, to go through and have all these different colored highlights and everything like that.
It's not just, it's annotated. I mean, he's got it in there, like the way he wants it with pictures and paper clips and whatnot. It's amazing.
It's kind of weird because when you're sitting watching a guy, he was bloody brilliant. Was that the only one getting a vibe of a young Sam Jackson?
Yeah, he does sound like him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
especially in the scenes with him and Misty alone, and he grabbed the gun like that, and he really put fear in her. But she kept thinking about that situation, even when she was already in the back in the police station.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, and when he calls all the bosses together and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. Who invited you? By not inviting me, I was invited. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go.
So all of that resource that was at that Christmas Atticus was released to Diamondback, right?
No, that was all still in the there wasn't. It was just liquidizing assets, to be honest with you. That's where he got all the money from.
Yep. Okay, and Alfred Woodard, who we formerly knew as Willie Sloan in First Contact, as Mariah Dillard, who later becomes quote-unquote Black Mariah.
Oh, it's Mama Mabel version 2.0 by the end of this, isn't it? Oh, dear.
She's always good, though.
Yeah, great performance.
Well, luckily, thank goodness her character wasn't killed off because, when they do the second season of Luke Cage, she still could be a pain in the neck to him. So it's good to see that she still be there influencing her neighborhood and all that, and try to be looking good where everybody knows how much of a snake in the grass she is and a backstabber.
A cricket politician from New York. How ironic.
Oh, yeah. Wow, nothing new here.
That's it. You do. You get the start from the beginning that you think that she's trying to do something good for the area, although it's sort of serving her own ends and everything like that. But then you get that fantastic bit where she's there greeting all the supporters at the rally, and then gets to the end of it, and the assistant pours the hand sanitizer after she's been touching all the locals in Harlem. It just gives you the idea of how in a second, she's crooked. Now she's just got utter contempt, really, and she's just out for her own means. And like I say, she just she realizes that perhaps all she can do is just become the person that she's been brought up and seen and has idolized and everything like that. And actually, that's closer to what it is. She's tried her whole life not to be like that, but inevitably, that is how she's going to be.
And how clever is that she's the one that takes down Cottonmouth, her cousin, because I mean, because he knew he had to go at some point, but I mean, wow, it's not being her because she has he messes up her career or whatever, and she takes him down.
And she will step on anyone to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about the crazy ones? They're the quiet ones. You've got to be careful of those ones.
Mm-hmm.
For the first part, she sat there and didn't say much at all, really, for the first half of the season. And she was like just building herself up.
That's it. And by the end of it, that's it. She's like she's faring the storms like a complete boss, to be honest with you. She sees which way she's going. She can see how she's going to flip it to her advantage and how she's going to manipulate the situation to her own ends. Like a politician, and B, now she's untouchable and thinking, well, yeah, this is it. I'm going to do. If I can't be elected, if I can't beat the system, then I will make my own system, and that's it. So now she, in essence, makes herself the boss of Harlem by any means necessary.
Well, it's amazing she gets through that scene too at the table when all those other guys get taken down.
Yeah,
she's there and she keeps her cool. And of course, this is Alfred Woodard. She's always amazing. But I mean, for the character to be able to pull that off, because she is at the end of the day just a politician. But she sits there and still and doesn't even bat an eye when all these guys are dying around her. It's an amazing performance.
Yeah, it is an amazing performance. I really didn't think she was able to do it because I've seen her in other things, and when I saw her as Black Mariah, I was like, oh crap, she's actually really good.
Oh, she's always good.
And what was it? That one point where she had the gun. She opened up the little case, and she had the gun in her hand, and then Shades came in, and I was just like, what are you going to do? And then I thought she was going to shoot herself, really. You know?
She didn't seem like that kind of person.
She didn't have that baggage of the gun. She picked it up and was completely comfortable and connected with it and had no issue at all.
Just saw her as a trophy, I think.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, last villain to bring up, and then we're going to talk about a couple more people, then we'll wrap it up. LaTanya Richardson as Mama Mabel. My kid, when I first saw her picture, I was like, oh, wow, it's Wheezy Jefferson. I'm not kidding, because the way they had her hair done and all that, it was just typical of that period. But then when you actually meet Mama Mabel in that one scene, it's like, it's Wheezy Jefferson meets Scarface. And she is this absolutely turns from like, oh, look, she's the mother figure to, oh, my God, she's possessed by Satan or something. I'm like, that was a brilliant bit of acting there where she just flipped like within a second there into this evil, ruthless person. I was like, that caught me off guard. I was like,
the funny thing is,
what the hell?
Yeah, now the funny thing is, I think when I was a little kid, there was a person that was like that around what I used to live at. A lot of people who didn't have money like that, they used to go to this person to get
loan shark. Yeah.
Well, you can't say a loan shark. Just to give them money for the kids to have school clothes and school supplies. It was like back 40 years ago, like that. So she played that character right down right. And then when she blew up, when one of her lieutenants was selling drugs, which she didn't want to get into, I mean, she dealt with that person real quick.
Oh yeah, outside boy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. You have respect, but you have to play by their rules and everything like that. And that's what it was, because you even have a young Pops who, by his own admission, was a bit of a rough and tough knockabout kid around the
bit of a rogue.
around the area. And obviously he was going there and paying his dues and paying his respect to her and everything like that. So you get the impression that you towed the line, but she was what used to be like a we used to have it in the UK like a respectable criminal. One that looks after their own. But obviously there has to be that element of respect, and there are some lines that you don't cross, and if you cross those rules, God help you, then something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, Pops was one of her little minions actually, and he used his fist to support her and create more backing for her empire. It was cool.
Well, she was a madam as well. Yeah, so yeah.
Yes, madam. Yeah.
As I come, none of the police bother her because They were her clients.
And they kind of worked it out.
Mia, you kind of had your finger up there. You wanted to add something onto that, or?
It was what's his name? When the guy was doing the drugs. I can't remember. The one that was really respectful to Cottonmouth. Remember when he was younger? Him when he was doing
the Spanish one.
No, not Domingo, not Domingo. No, it was Obama Mabel, and he was doing the drugs, and Cottonmouth had to kill him.
Yeah, it was the uncle.
Yes,
that was the uncle. Was it Peter or Jack? I
forgot his name, but
yeah.
I kind of felt bad for the uncle, which I know I shouldn't have felt bad for the uncle, but I did. Because he was helping Cottonmouth, trying to get him to move on with his music career, but Mama wasn't having that. Family come first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, now let's hop on to a couple more characters and we'll call it a night. I wanted to talk briefly about Simone Missick, a.k.a. Mercedes Misty Knight.
Amazing.
Yeah.
An amazing character.
She's a great character. We were all waiting for her to lose her arm because in the comics we all know that she has a cybernetic arm. Luckily, it didn't happen in this series, but eventually it will. Now, will she appear in Iron Fist? Because in the comics they do become friends and I think lovers like that. We have to wait and find out. You know, I'll wait till the spring to find that out. But her character will come back, whether it's going to be in Defenders or the other TV series. Her character will return. The funny weird thing, in the comics, she should be almost like a little younger than the way this actress is playing her, because Misty Knight's a little bit younger. But it doesn't bother me like that. But it's good to see many different characters, whether age they are, play their roles. So she played it real well. Now, whether we're gonna see her meet or get any more training from Colleen Wing, who we saw, the little advertisement at the final episode. We went to Iron Fist to see what happens with that one.
Rosario Dawson was brilliant, absolutely amazing as her.
Well, no, that's the other lady.
That's Cliff Temple.
Yeah, but what I liked about Misty Knight too was that she's her own person. She's not going to be told what to do by anybody, and it's sad that she's in the position she's in. Her partner is crooked, and we know that long before she does, and that kind of makes it look like she's not paying too much attention. But I like her style too, because she'll look at a crime scene, or she'll look at the crime scene photos, and she'll have like flashbacks to how it went down. And that's pretty clever too. I mean, she's a very good cop, and unfortunately, she's always under somebody else's charge, so she doesn't have a lot of power. It's only by luck, by the end of the series, that she manages to convince that other lady that took over that Luke Cage isn't the villain everybody thinks he is. So, I mean, it's an amazing character, and she goes on her own journey, because remember, she loses it and starts beating up on Claire at one point. And then it happens again later with another cop, and that's when she kind of realized, man, I was that person a minute ago, and that guy beats up that little kid. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was wrong.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you first meet her, and it's sort of like, hang on a second, she's doing the bad thing with Luke Cage straight away, and that's in the first episode. It's like, whoa, okay. But after that, it's sort of then things start falling into place and everything.
Yeah.
And she is, she's had the opportunity to go forward, but she wants to do something. She wants to make a difference to her area where she grew up, and she cares about it. Yeah, and she's as much a product of where she comes from. And the thing is, though, you do. She's the honest cop, and she's always right in what she's doing, but she's fighting against the system as well herself. She's fighting against a corrupt police force who are very quick to point the finger at an easy target, rather than look deeper and find out there's something more to it. It's easy to point the finger at Luke Cage. It's easy, to a certain degree, you could say, to point a finger at a black guy or something like that, instead of do something like that. So there are sort of like little things about, you could say, institutional racism. There is commentary made on that in this, but it is dealt with and addressed in a very grown-up and serious matter. It's not in a knee-jerk way, which is the thing about it. And her character does that really well. And she garners respect by how well she does it. Begrudgingly, her boss is also bound by the same level of protocol to a certain degree she is, but she also has to toe a company line.
Mm-hmm. The actress was amazing, and the character is amazing too. And you know, it's she doesn't probably get all the props that she would because you're in a show full of amazing characters doing amazing things. But she really stands out as well as being one of the better characters in this because she has a hard ride too. I mean, she's always like the underdog in this kind of thing. In spite of the first episode where you don't even know who she is, and she's just somebody he meets at the bar.
I mean, the other thing too is, didn't she know Pops and all that? So.
Yeah. Well, you see her playing basketball with kids and stuff because she used to do that when she was a kid.
Yeah.
It's cool. It shows that she's been there. She's been in that situation.
Yeah. Plus, they gave her love of basketball a couple mentions there in the series. So, you know, she grew up in that city. She knew everybody. Yeah, well, all right, let's talk briefly about Claire Temple, and we're going to talk about Pops as well, because I got to bring up Pops, because I really love the way the guy portrayed. Like, of course, we know Rosie O'Donnell, Roseanne. Sorry. And then, of course, Pops was being played by Frank. If I got to pronounce it right, Frankie Faison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because that's what I had down here in my notes. Frankie Faison, yeah. So we got to give mentions to them, you know, and of course Scarf.
Oh, poor Scarf. Oh.
Because, you know, how many of you guys were sitting there thinking, okay, and then all of a sudden he whips out his tie and strangles Chico to death.
Whoa, poor Chico, yeah.
How many of you are like almost pissed your pants a little? You know, you're like,
Yeah.
Just a little.
Well, he had to get payback for Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Check out the big tie on Brad. Yeah.
But, I'm surprised that Frank Whaley was in it, and he did a good job too. I mean, everybody in the series is great. It really is.
Yeah, Frank Whaley is Scarf. Yeah, he did a really good job because he had you convinced, okay, he's just the old cop. You know, he kind of brought Misty up from the streets. They kind of allude to that, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's the guy who's on the freaking payroll of what's the name?
Yeah. He's the smart mouth cop, but at the end of the day, you think he's got a heart of gold. And you get a sort of little bit of a tragic story as well about his kid dying and everything like that towards the end of it. I do like the little Tarantino nod as well, though, when Misty's looking at the pictures and he talks to her and she goes, "Oh, you broke my concentration." That's such a, There's that little dig there, which was quite cool. There was some little...
And the two cops played a really good double act. You know, the banter back and forth was great.
You gotta give Rosario Dawson coming back as Claire. She's been around since Daredevil, and this character developed because of what happened to her in second season of Daredevil with her job. So see what was going on with her. But and of course, she was one of the main people that was able to help Luke Cage
get fried.
You know, go down south and get fried and get killed.
She was very good in this, and I liked that it didn't go down the expected route and have them, you know, sleeping together and whatnot.
Go out for coffee. Go out for coffee.
Because she kept putting him off. And right in the last episode, we think, oh, finally they're gonna get their boink on. No. He gets taken away. So I mean, I thought it was good that they didn't. That would have been the obvious thing to do, and they didn't do it that way. So
it's good that they're not doing the obvious. You know, they're not sticking to.
Can I just say that thanks to this show, I highly endorse coffee.
Oh, shame on you, Graham. Shame. One part I loved is, remember when Misty was injured? Injured, and then Claire was there helping, and then Shades came in. Oh, them girls tore him up.
Oh yeah, Shades get his ass kicked. I forgot about that.
That was deep.
That was pretty good.
I'll do the medical stuff. You go do the bulletproof stuff.
Yeah.
and they kept doing that reference. You know, people would pay for this. I was like, really, y'all? We know it's Hero for Hire. I know.
But touching on Pops a minute, especially through that first episode before it all went awry in episode 2. The first 15 minutes of this thing, it was like the Desmonds in Harlem. It really was, man. You know?
Somewhere out there in this country, there's a guy buying entire warehouses of clearance sale hoodies and cutting holes in them and putting Luke Cage logos on them.
There you go.
Because they'll be selling at cons, you know it. Okay, look, we've talked on for about an hour, so let's go ahead and we're going to rate this sucker and put it to bed. Now, as we already know, Alex has already given it a 9. So let's pop on over to AJ. You go ahead.
Well, 9.5 out of 10. I didn't like the sort of little cliffhanger ending where he's driving out of the city. They could have had just sort of something else. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10.
Well, I'm kind of glad they threw that in because it's going to be leading into the next series or Defenders or whichever one that coming next. I can't remember. Is it going to be like Defenders next, William?
No, Iron Fist is next.
That's right, Iron Fist. Okay.
Defenders in the summer, and Punisher in this time next year.
Yeah, and Daredevil's not back to like 2018, and then Jessica Jones is like a little after that.
Well, remember, they're going to appear in Defenders, so you're still going to see them.
Yeah.
I have a question then, Will, because I mean, could they affect his escape in the next series, whatever it is? Is he Iron Fist's friend, right? So I mean,
well, they become friends later on. So, but I get the funny feeling maybe in the second episode of Defenders, you will see Matt Murdock representing him with the file that his friend at the barbershop found.
Yeah,
that was there. So that would solve that, him being incarcerated.
What was that guy's name again at the barbershop?
Bobby Fish. I love him. It's such a brilliant Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer, yeah. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, the fact that he found the file, and Claire has already alluded to the fact she knows a great lawyer. Mm-hmm. So
we're not talking about Hogarth.
Yeah, put all that together, and I have an eerie feeling that they're going to be calling Matt Murdock to spring him.
Mm. Don't you think they would go? I'm sorry. Don't you think they would do something like a big escape? Or like in one of these other series where he gets busted out by somebody. No,
but remember now that that same scientist is doing the same thing to his half brother, they probably Wilson Fiskman might can use him as a bodyguard like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping those two guys in the van were going to turn out to be like SHIELD agents or something.
I could bring that up, and it has to be Luke Cage's late wife that she worked for the government. So a lot of rumors circulating that she might have been an agent of SHIELD. So you wouldn't be surprised if Coulson, only him, not the team, might show up later on to talk to Luke Cage.
Yeah, because there's been little mentions in the media about a possibility of a crossover with Agents of SHIELD in the Netflix series. So it could happen.
Oh.
Okay, William, you're up next, so go ahead.
Oh, this is a great series. I wasn't anticipating this to be any great, but it's going to be much better than this. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10, and anytime you play any of the 70s music that I grew up hearing, you get mad respect. So I give you kudos on that.
Okay, Graham, you're up next.
I'm going to concur with that. It's 9 out of 10. It's jazzy, it's swingy, and roll on next year.
All right, Beef.
Right, if I can go on for just a very little bit, what I like about this series is that it's unashamedly black, to be honest with you. And that's it. That's what I loved about it, to be honest with you. Growing up in a multicultural area like I did in London, it's sort of, I do feel a sort of relation to an affinity to it, so I can identify certain things with it. Quentin Tarantino did want to do this, but he wanted to do it in the 70s. The beautiful thing about this story is it didn't need to be in the 70s, it didn't need to be in the 80s. It worked in any time period, but it worked perfectly now, and it had to be updated. I like the hoodie stuff, to be honest with you, because it gives the idea that that's his Clark Kent type thing. He puts on the hoodie, he tries to blend in, be a normal person, so it's like his disguise to a certain degree, as opposed to a costume, and there's no costume to it. I love how he slaps people, like it's, and you have to have a big challenge at the end of it because no one can really challenge him. So I love the idea of the super suit at the end of it. It is a fantastic series. It deals with, like I say, it uses the N-word, and that is deconstructed perfectly at the start of the third episode when he's got a gun held to the back of his head in the park saying, "I've just had a really bad day," and he completely takes apart how that word can be used derogatively. It's the best argument for it. It deals with the sort of Trayvon Jenkins type shooting, the idea of the demonizing people with hoodies. To be honest with you, it takes that away from it, and the idea of institutional racism. The idea I like about it as well is one of the themes that I found about this was the idea of the value someone places on the name. He's thrown away his name and taken a new name because he can't get away from his past. The wanting to claim his name back and the acknowledgement of who he is part of Diamondback's thing, and the idea of family and the idea of names. That names carry power in this, which is something I love. It's a tremendous series. The music is brilliant. Like I say, I love the Delphonics type style that you had to it as well. I just love so much of this. It is too cool for school. It is a definite 10 out of 10 for me, all the way. And anything that can have Method Man and Wu-Tang in it, props, son. 10 all the way.
Okay, Lady Neo.
Well, I've never really watched anything superhero like that's predominantly black. And I was really surprised at this. I'm thinking maybe Black Panther's going to be the same way, the movie. But overall, this is really good. I love the Easter eggs that they put. Oh my God, the Easter eggs. There's so many. Like the guy on the corner. Oh yeah, the guy that's green, and the Iron Man, and the Thor, and Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. And I was like, okay, all right, ooh. And then that little sign with Stan Lee. I was like, okay.
Yeah. The terrorism sign, yeah.
Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah. Did you like the in joke there, Lady Neo? The in joke?
So many. There's just so many. There's like tons of Easter eggs in this and cameos, and I was like, okay, cool. I like that.
Even Stan Lee made a cameo as a wanted poster on one of the walls.
I felt that wanted poster was like a CGI thing. I didn't think
that was Stan Lee.
Oh, that's why it looks so. Okay.
If you see it, say it.
Okay.
Yeah, terrorism poster, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that's why it looked so. No, I thought it was lifelike. So now I know why. But yeah, the music is great. Love the mixture of the old and the new, the rap and the old, like 100 Days, 100 Nights. That was a good song. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's good. It did drag. And I'm sorry, I do love Misty Knight, but I always felt like she had something up her butt.
Ooh.
It was that coffee she shared later.
Yeah.
I was going to say it might have been Luke Cage.
She was grinding them beans, yeah.
Okay, Susan.
All right. Well, I like the whole thing. I liked the flip flop of villains. I like the beautiful music. I like the urbanity of it. How it was just like straight out of Harlem, and it was beautiful that way. I love how the characters mixed with each other, and I love the character arcs. And I have a new superhero hero in Luke Cage and Power Man. I'm pretty psyched about following his stories, and maybe even I'll buy some comic books with him in it. So if the television series is supposed to sell comic books, it's done its job. If it's supposed to lead on to other new things, it's doing that job too. So I'm thrilled by this, and thanks for letting me be part of this.
Okay. Oh, what is it, Graham?
I might have missed it. She gave it a number there. I could have been listening. Sorry.
Oh, 9.5.
There you go.
Okay. Texas Tim, go ahead.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that Beef had said about the way this show comes across. It's amazing, and it really is it's one of these to all the people that are also sensitive about race issues and all that stuff. They can just really go jump off a cliff. But I can't really give it a 10 because there were a couple of things that I didn't like that much, but I'm going to give it a 9.5 because it was an amazing run of episodes and it was an amazing story with a bunch of amazing characters. All of them were really cool. So I'm gonna go with AJ, Neo, and Sue with a 9.5. I think it was nearly perfect, but not quite. Amazing. It was amazing run of episodes. Good show.
And
He gave his
oh, that's right. You gave. That's right. You were at the beginning. That's right. Your thing flipped over. Sorry. That's right. We already did yours. You gave it a 9. All right. For me, okay. Soundtrack spectacular. You were jumping between old Motown, jazz, quite a great bit of soul. Then you add on to that some, pretty good modern rap. Not the shit you normally hear. Some pretty, not too bad stuff. And then add on to that character development. Phenomenal. The villains were all portrayed incredibly well rounded out. They weren't just cookie cutter 2-dimensional villains. Boom, all represented well. I got to give this baby at least a 9.95 out of 10.
9.95.
A couple little places where it kind of dragged, but not too much for me. See, I don't want to give it a perfect 10 because there was a couple places where it kind of dragged, but not so much that I can't give it a 9.95.
You mentioned the soundtrack. Is that available for purchase yet? Does anybody know?
What?
Which one?
The soundtrack for the series.
The soundtrack is available on iTunes right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to go buy that.
Yeah, they put out a link for it the other day. So it is available for download if you want to get it. Unfortunately, it's mainly incidental music. I didn't see a whole lot of the songs that were portrayed on the throughout the series on that. We can only hope that sooner or later they're going to put out one that has the actual artists and all that on it.
But I must confess, the incidental music really that got me excited.
No, don't get me wrong. I like the instrumental music. It's just I really dig the live shows in the club.
A lot of those numbers were phenomenal. I really love those bits where they cut to the club. Yeah. Oh man. But the incidental music kind of put me in the mind of Isaac Hayes.
No.
So.
Yeah, that Bobby Womack, and I liked how I don't know, I could be wrong, but the sort of the organ music that Cottonmouth was doing after he died was sort of woven into the incidental music as well, which made it all that extra specially good for me.
Okay, next time, guys, depending on how things work out, we're going to be talking about probably Class. Because that's going to be starting next week. So we're going to see what time, what happens and how we're going to be able to watch the episodes or whatnot. Because if worse comes worse, we may have to put it back till Sunday. We'll see what, if who's able to see the episodes and when. Then we'll hammer out a time for when we're going to record next week's. But we're definitely going to be going into Class because that starts on the 22nd. And that's going to be the spinoff of Doctor Who. And, it's kind of like Doctor Who meets Buffy meets Vampire Diaries meets, from the trailer. I'm just having a laugh with you. Okay, so until then, take care, ta-ta, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Eat lots of fiber and stay regular.
Rock on.
And if anyone wants to buy some really cheap Nike Airs,
Good night.